Today I'm making this delicious Kadai Paneer, so come join me as we make this together. So I'm going to start by adding about 1 tablespoon of oil to a wok or a kadai, and I'm just going to swish it around a little just to oil up the whole surface area where we are going to do the cooking. I'm going to start with about a 1/4 cup of cashews that I halved. Now I'm doing things a little differently than what normally happens in Kadai Paneer, but this is the way I feel comfortable cooking Kadai Paneer. So what I first do is to roast the cashews and the paneer. And the paneer, I actually cut them in strips or sticks because I find that to be much more workable than cutting cubes or cutting thick strips of this. So that's what I've done, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to lightly roast them, and then I'm going to set them aside and continue working on the base of the Kadai Paneer. So just put all your ingredients into the kadai and give them a quick stir, and then when they have browned a little, I am going to take it off the heat and set it aside. And now I just add a little oil to the kadai again, and those are fenugreek seeds. It's about 1/8 teaspoon. I'm going to let it brown before I add the black mustard seeds. And as soon as I add the black mustard seeds, I'm going to swish it around again in the kadai because I like to make sure the whole kadai gets oiled and it's evenly cooking. Now that the mustard seeds are popping, I'm going to add cumin seeds to it, and we're going to let it brown just a little bit before we add the main ingredient. No Kadai Paneer is complete without coriander seeds, and so I'm going to add, I actually added about 2 tablespoons, which might have been a little bit too much. So if this is like your first time, or if you don't feel comfortable with it, go ahead and add just about 1 tablespoon of coriander seeds. And I'm going to now add the spices to this. This is on the spicy end, so just adjust the chilies according to your taste. The first thing I add is about 1.5 red chilies that I just kind of broke them up into small pieces. And this is Thai green chilies that I slit into half, and I left the seeds in, but if you don't like them spicy, obviously just remove them, and that's fine. I also added about a 1/4 cup of red tomato paste and 1 cup of tomato sauce. And here I am making a little well that I'm going to use to put the garlic and the ginger in. Now technically I should have put the garlic and the ginger in before I put the tomato paste, because this would saute the ginger and the garlic perfectly before adding it in the tomato sauce. But I am the kind of person who never does things in the right order, so don't pay attention to what I did here. Feel free to add the ginger and the garlic before you add the tomato paste. And now that all the ingredients are mixed well together, I want to show you, give you a little close-up of what it looks like. And look at that. Isn't that just the most colorful, like, red sauce that you've ever seen? And it's just so delicious. I wish I could bring you into my kitchen and have you smell the aroma that was coming out of it. But this is perfect the way it is right now. And what we're going to do is we're going to let it cook by itself until some of the liquid has dissipated and it's more of a thickened consistency, and then I will come back and show you what else I add to this. And this is what it looks like in paste form, and this is the perfect time to add water to it, and we're going to make a sauce from this paste. And then as soon as I add water, I'm going to just let it thicken a little bit before we move on to the next step. And it's starting to thicken. This was about maybe 7 minutes on medium heat, and at this point you're going to get a lot of splatter, which is perfectly normal. What's a kitchen without splatter marks all over the place, right? And I'm going to do things differently once again. I took the sauce out and I'm going to do the veggies separately. Now this is not necessary, but this is the way I like doing it. So I remove the sauce to the side, and I'm going to start with the onions. Now, I didn't wipe down the kadai because I really want to use up all the ingredients. I hate to waste any of the food, but it's up to you if you feel like you want to wipe it down. Just take a paper towel, wet it a little bit, and wipe it out all around the wok itself or the kadai. And now I add about a quarter cup of chopped onions. You can use red onions or you can use yellow onions. I like to keep the red onions for the garnish part, but so I used the white onions for the base, but the choice is yours. And now that the onions have browned, I am going to add the bell peppers. I went with 3 different colors of bell peppers because I like a very colorful recipe. But if you have only one color, that's perfectly okay. I used a half of red bell pepper, a half of a yellow bell pepper, and a half of a green bell pepper, and I cut them into long strips to match the size of the paneer. And I'm going to stir them, and I'm going to let them soften for maybe about 10 minutes on medium heat, and then I will see you on the other side. Okay, so the bell peppers are done. I did let them char a little bit because I love charred bell peppers. It really gives a nice smoky flavor to the kadai paneer. Now this is also optional, you don't have to do it, but trust me when I say it tastes really good. And I'm going to do another thing backwards now. This is the turmeric powder and red chili powder. This is supposed to be around the time where you add the mustard seeds, but I like to do them separately because I like to toast the turmeric. I don't know if that's the right cooking term, but a toasted turmeric really adds flavor, and it releases all its Ayurvedic properties. So toast it on the side, and then we are going to mix everything together to bring this kadai paneer to its final conclusion, which is just too delicious, trust me. The first thing I add is the tomato base that we just made, and then I'm going to give it a quick mix. I add about half a cup of water because it was getting a little too thick. So add that little water and we are going to stir it once again. I know I stir too much, people tell me that, but it's just something I can't help. I like stirring things as much as possible. Again, you don't have to do it, just wait for the water to mix well with the tomato sauce, and then we're going to finish adding all the other ingredients. I add about half teaspoon to 1 teaspoon salt. You can adjust to your taste. It's going to need a little extra salt because the paneer doesn't have any flavors, so it absorbs all the flavors from the tomato sauce and whatever we put in there. So a little extra salt is going to be fine, but again, you can adjust to your taste. Now I'm going to add jaggery, as it's known, or basically it is clumped brown sugar. So if you don't have jaggery at home, you can just add about 1 tablespoon of brown sugar, and as soon as I add that, it's going to start melting by itself. So we don't have to do anything else except add the remaining ingredients. So I want to take you again and give you a little closer look to see what it looks like. And look at that, the sauce is irresistible. This whole kadai paneer is so irresistible because of its rich red color, and adding all the different color of peppers just makes it even more colorful. So I dare you to resist taking a spoon and just diving into this sauce. I know you're not going to be able to resist it. Okay, I'm going to stop tempting you and we are going to continue with the recipe. I did let some of the water dissipate because I like the current texture where it has a little bit of liquid, but it's mostly paste. So let me give you a closer look. And I hope you're drooling as much as I am. I actually had to stop recording after this and take a few bites out of the recipe because it's just so good and completely irresistible. Here, one more time. Look at all the yellow peppers and the red peppers coming together into a beautiful, colorful recipe. And I finally add the paneer that we talked about earlier, which we roasted. And this is actually the end of the recipe. So all that is left to do is to give it one last stir. I want to be a little careful because the paneer is delicate, but just slowly stir it, and that's all you need to do. The recipe is ready to be served. In some Indian restaurants, you might find this recipe in the appetizer section where it's served with papad. but you can also serve it with naan, or you can serve it with rice, or both. So that's all it takes to make a Kadai Paneer. It is actually a little more involved than my other recipes, but I think it's totally worth this recipe because it just doesn't get any better than Kadai Paneer. So I hope you enjoyed this video and this recipe. Please come back and subscribe to my recipe, and also tell me what you thought of Kadai Paneer. Thank you. I'll see you in the next recipe.